UFC just announced so many fights right now. And they even announced that we might get Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria before or on International Fight Week. It's not confirmed, but it might happen. Ilia Topuria just vacated the featherweight belt. He said he couldn't make the weight anymore, and he felt like he has accomplished everything. He had knocked out 2 featherweight GOATs, and now that kind of leads us with Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes for the featherweight belt in UFC 314 Miami. And they also announced a whole bunch of other fights on that card. They announced this banger right here, Della Maddalena versus Belal Muhammad for UFC 315 Montreal. They announced Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett UFC 314 Miami. I thought Paddy was going to fight Moicano, but we get this fight right here. Still a super exciting fight. We also get this banger right here for Miami. We get Patricio Pitbull making his UFC debut at 37 years old against Yair Rodriguez. Banger of a fight right here for UFC Miami, dude. And we also get, for Miami, Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. Fighting nerds on a roll this year. Let's see if they can continue it. And we also get the co-main event for UFC 315 Montreal, Valentina Shevchenko versus Martin Fiorot. I thought they were gonna give it to Weili Chang, but let's just start off with what we might. Let's just start off with the first fight that they announced. After Ilia Topuria literally just vacated his belt, he said, "I'm moving up." We might actually get the Makhachev fight for real, but they announced Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. That's the headliner for UFC 314 Miami. Sadly enough, I'm making a video right now, and I'm gonna have to change up a lot of it. I did predict this was gonna happen, so I'm gonna talk. I think Diego Lopes is gonna knock out Alexander Volkanovski. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I think Diego Lopes is faster on the feet. I feel like Alexander Volkanovski, I feel like Father Time is getting to him. If it goes to the ground, I feel like Diego Lopes' Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is really good. Volkanovski has good grappling. But Diego Lopes is going to be holding the belt. He has to be holding the belt. Just look at the rise that he's had in the UFC, dude. And the fact that this man is going to be holding a belt is pretty awesome. I'm a huge fan of Diego Lopes, and I cannot wait to see that happen. I'm not counting out Volkanovski, though. I just think Diego Lopes, I think he's just better, dude, right now. He's in his prime. I feel like Volkanovski right now, he might be losing a little bit of pep in his step, dude. But, I don't know, man. I feel like this is a great main event for UFC Miami. Like, this is crazy. Like, UFC 314 Miami is crazy. The fact that Ilia Topuria just vacated the belt is crazy. I wanted to talk about that right now, actually, because it's aligned. And Ilia Topuria versus Makhachev for International Fight Week is going to be insane. This will be like the first super fight that we've had in a while. In the video that I am making right now, I did say that this is going to happen. It has to happen this year. The UFC has to give us a super fight. It has to be this one. It's the only probable one to happen, and it looks like all the domino pieces are falling together for this to happen. This is crazy. The fact that we might get this fight, the fact that Ilia Topuria just vacated his belt. He said he couldn't make the weight anymore. I just feel like Ilia Topuria is trying to be the greatest fighter of all time, and he basically knocked out 2 featherweight GOATs back to back and said, you know what, I want the lightweight belt, give me that too. Ilia right now is going crazy. Makhachev is no joke though, but let's continue on. Let's talk about this fight right here, Belal Muhammad versus Della Maddalena. Della Maddalena was headlining against Leon Edwards for UFC Fight Night London, but scratch that. Bilal Muhammad wants to fight before Ramadan. They're gonna give him Della Maddalena. Maddalena's getting his title shot. UFC Montreal in March, dude. Yo, crazy card, bro. Crazy main event for that card, and crazy that Maddalena gets his title shot, dude. Shavkat's gonna be out for super duper long time, and that fight against Ian Gary probably you know, took him out of the title picture a little bit. He might need another fight or two to get back in there. We'll see. But this fight right here is gonna be really interesting with Maddalena. You know, he's gonna get the champ, dude. And let's see how he does with this takedown defense, his striking. Let's see what you know, Bilal Muhammad does with that, like a really good striker in front of him. This is gonna be a real interesting fight, dude. This is like crazy. I can't wait to see this fight. This fight is nuts. But let's talk about another fight that's on this Miami card. Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett. I wanted Paddy Pimblett versus Renato Moicano, but I saw a lot of rumors of this one, and it looked like it was gonna happen, and it did. And it's UFC 314 Miami. I need to go to this. I need to go to this card, dude. This card is crazy. But Michael Chandler, 2-4 in the UFC, and he always gets the big fights, man. I don't know if that was part of his contract, really going into the UFC. I know it was, but dude, he just does not stop getting the big fights. He gets Paddy Pimblett. Dana White's making Paddy Pimblett's rise to the top a little bit easy, dude. He's giving him old heads, dude. Michael Chandler has a chance to knock out Paddy Pimblett. The grappling's gonna be interesting because, you know, Chandler twice in there with Oliveira did not get submitted. Paddy Pimblett, I know he's a good grappler, but it's kind of different. It's gonna be interesting to see. If I don't know, my early pick. This is not like for sure. I'm gonna go with Paddy Pimblett here. He's just a younger prospect, and if he actually improves on the feet and doesn't leave his chin out and actually lands a shot that might take Michael Chandler out of this fight or knock him down and he might submit him, I'm gonna have to go with Paddy Pimblett. But this fight right here is crazy. They also added this one to UFC 314 Miami. Patricio Pitbull versus Yair Rodriguez. Patricio Pitbull making his UFC debut at 37 is crazy enough. I wanted to see Patricio Pitbull versus Michael Chandler run that back in the UFC. That would have been crazy to see. But they given Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez is like on a 2-fight losing skid right now. This fight is crazy right here. I can't wait to see this fight. Somebody's getting knocked out. Both these guys, crazy, tremendous power, crazy skill on the feet. Somebody's getting knocked out. This to be the featured featured card for UFC 314 Miami is nuts. I love this card already, how it's going. But if I had to pick who to win, somebody to win here, I'd go to Yair Rodriguez because, you know, he does have a chance to knock out Patricio Pitbull, and maybe if it goes on the ground, he does have a chance. I know he's not really much of a grappler. He got submitted, but Patricio Pitbull's pretty old, man. I don't know, but we'll see. This one's gonna be a banger fight, though. Another one that they also added to the Miami card: Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. I'm gonna have to go with Carlos Prates here, baby. I'm fighting nerds all day, but man, this is another great fight for the UFC 314 card. Boxer versus Muay Thai. Jeff Neal's last fight was against RDA, and RDA was crumbling like a piece of paper out there. He's too old to be out there anymore. Carlos Prates, man, he's making his way up, man. He knows this is the only way. He probably has like another fight if he beats Neal, maybe 2 more. I don't know. Prates is on his way up. Maybe we get to see Prates versus JDM to end the year for the belt. That would be crazy. I don't know. I cannot wait to see all these fights. Last, probably it's last because nobody really cares about it, but still we have to talk about it. Valentina Shevchenko versus Martin Fiorot, UFC 315. This is the Montreal card. This is the co-main event. It's a good fight. It's a test for Valentina Shevchenko. This is a really good opponent for her. I wanted to see Wei Ling Cheng versus Valentina Shevchenko, but I feel like UFC said, "Hey, we're gonna give you Fiorot. If you beat Fiorot, we'll give you Wei Ling Cheng. We'll make that later on. We'll give well, I feel like the UFC still has to give Wei Ling Cheng time to make the weight, and I feel like this will give her enough time. Maybe by this time around, she'll like be able to make the weight. She's already training, and then she'll be there when the fight happens. Shevchenko Fiorot. If Shevchenko wins, she comes out, face off in the middle of the crowd. That'd be kind of crazy. But dude, the UFC just went through a crazy domino effect right now, announcing everything. This is gonna happen. I believe this is gonna happen. They want this to happen. They know that this is going to bring in probably this could be the biggest pay-per-view of all time. We don't know. Dude, this is just the fight that everybody wants and we might actually get. I would have thought that Ilia would have at least hold his belt and maybe come back, but he didn't. But he's gonna move on up. It's crazy. Volkanovski versus Lopes. I want to see Lopes hold that belt. I think it would be great for the division. Then you can give him Imavov. That would be good. Dude, the UFC, they know. I feel like the UFC is going crazy right now, and we need it, man. And I can't wait to see what happens next, man. But I'm Jane Epps MMA. Crazy fight news just announced, and probably still more gonna happen. I don't know, but I'm Jane Epps MMA. Like and subscribe. I'm out, folks.